Hello, good morning. Welcome to Sewing Street on this wonderful sunny Sunday morning. I don't know if it is sunny actually. Hopefully it's sunny. I'm Debbie Shaw and I'm going to be with you for the next 3 hours live. We've got a bit of bag making, we've got whole bundles of rainbow fabrics, and we've got some tools for you as well. So it'd be lovely to have your company for the rest of this morning if you're free and you're around. Because your weather's nice and bright and early in the morning, we bring you a special offer every day. We call it our early bird. So I'll give you the details of that in just a second, but basically you order now and then you won't have any more postage to pay for anything else that you order throughout the rest of the day, which is a fabulous offer. So early birds, here you go. We have 2 packets of Bondaweb. This is a fusible sheet which is ideal for applique. It's got a permanent adhesion, it's easy to use, and it also means that your applique is easier to cut out. It keeps everything nice and flat, a lot easier than pinning. Now £4.48, that makes you a saving of £1.50 off the usual. Let me just open one of these up so you can see how much you're getting inside. And oh, could have made that neater. There you go. And this is the size that you're going to get, so there is a sizable sheet. And there are 2 of those. Actually, these would be absolutely perfect if you're going to go for our a letter applique panels, which are coming up shortly. The shiny side is the gluey side, so this goes onto the back of your fabric. You iron that on and then scratch away the paper side, re-iron it on. I'll show you that later on. Re-iron it onto your project and then you've got a great adhesion. With applique, and particularly with very fine applique like this would be, or larger pieces of applique, you can pin. Then you've got to sew around pins and you're not going to find that very accurate. You could use your 505 spray. I use a lot of 505 spray and we've got that in the show, but you'll still find that with larger pieces it kind of bunches up as you're sewing around it. So with your Bondaweb, that keeps everything flat as you're sewing around. So for intricate little details, perfect, and for larger applique pieces, perfect as well. And it doesn't wash out. It also means that if you're making something and you don't really want to spend a lot of time satin stitching around the edge, there's less chance of this actually fraying or coming away. So it's an almost permanent adhesion. So it's great for cushion covers, or if you're bag making, or if you're appliquing onto your quilt blocks. And again, you're getting a lot there for your £4.48. So £4.48 with £3.95 postage seems a little bit over the top, doesn't it? That's a lot of postage for a small item. However, if you come back later on throughout the day, all the way through until 11:30 this evening, we won't charge you any extra postage. So get this in your basket, go through to checkout, make sure that you've got your early bird, and then if you come back later on, you think, well, I only wanted a packet of pins. That's another £3.95. It's not worth it. No postage for that one. If you just wanted a tube of glue, we've got this coming up in the next hour. Already selling. I haven't got enough of that, I don't think. However, if you just want to come back in the next hour and order some glue, no extra postage. You get the idea. So order now. You can order on sewingstreet.com if you go to our website, or of course you can order on the phone lines, which is 0800 001 4433. As you go onto the website, if you're new to us, don't worry about it saying Jewellery Maker. We are piggybacking off the back of our sister channel, Jewellery Maker, for the moment while our fancy website's being built. By the end of the week. Keep saying it, might happen. So don't be put off by that. This is what you're going to see when you go to the website. So don't go to Jewellery Maker, go to sewingstreet.com and then you'll see a video. At the moment you'll be looking at me live. Underneath there, not underneath all that fabric, underneath the video, I am there, but I'm just covered in fabric. We have all of the products that we have in the show, and indeed all of the products that we have available for you. You can also go into there we are, look, there's the early bird and the fabrics, and there's those electric scissors, and we've got oh look, we have light boxes. We've got a brand new one for you. So you don't have to wait for me. You can get ahead of the game and have a look at everything else that we have there, and you can go into the different categories and look at the sewing machines and the fabric and the books and the tools and everything that we have for you. So we are a growing, building website. There's loads on there though. Okay, so that is your early bird. So check out your baskets for that one. If you would like to come and share something with us this morning, maybe a photo or a greeting, hello, how are you? What are you up to? Feel free. You can email the studio, which is studio@sewingstreet.com. So it'll be lovely to hear what you're up to. If you've got any questions, have you been sewing all weekend? What have you been making? Any requests? I'm going to sew something this morning, but I don't know what. So come and let me know what you'd like, if anything. Or you can pop over to our Facebook page, which is Sewing Street. Now we've got two Facebook pages. We have Sewing Street and Sewing Street Fans. So if you go to Sewing Street, this is where I am at the moment. Go on to Community and you will be able to, oh, morning, Angie. You'll be able to post from Great Yarmouth. You'll be able to post a message there if you like, or photos or anything else. It'd be lovely to have you as part of the show this morning. Right. Oh, early bird, a quarter of the stock sold out now. This will stay at that reduced price while we have the stock or until the end of the day. I'm going to say it'll stay at this price while we have the stock, because a quarter of the stock in a couple of minutes is rather a lot of stock to have disappeared. You can multi-order as well. So if you wanted to order more than one of those, do feel free. Go for as many as you like. Right. We got a couple of light boxes for you. This is the A3. It's got different shades of light. Different shades of light, that makes sense. Yeah, so you can go bright, medium and off, simply at the touch of a button, as you see there. I use a light box an awful lot for tracing off patterns. If I've got a multi-size pattern, I'll always make another one, either with trace or onto paper or joining bits of paper together, so that I don't have to spoil the actual pattern. But where these really come into their own is when you have books with patterns in them. Because I don't do it a lot with my books. There are occasional templates in there, but I don't do a lot of patterns personally, but a lot of people do. And it's a shame, I think, to cut into a book for any reason. And a lot of the time, like with my quilting book, you'll have the templates on both sides of the page. So you can cut that out and switch you off. You can cut it out and then you can use it once, but then on the back you've ruined the pattern that's on there. So actually the smaller one would be ideal for this as well. If you don't have a lot of splay. Did I say smaller one? Okay. This is £64.99. If that's a little bit out of your price range or you don't have room for the larger one, that's an A3. We have an A4 brand new for you today. So exactly the same. Half the size, half the price. This is £32.99. So if you are tracing patterns out of books, then this is ideal. So you may have to bend the spine of the book, not yours. And let's pop that on there. Oh, they're all shining through. And then your paper goes over the top. And then you can clearly see, actually you can clearly see both sides there, you could do two in one. But you can now clearly see the outline of what you're going to trace. So you're not going to cut into your book, you're not going to spoil your book. You don't have to tear pages out or anything like that. So that's absolutely perfect. One of the ways that I use my light box a lot is if I'm making a pattern of my own. So maybe I want to do, let's have a go. Just use an erasable pen. If I'm maybe making a flower and I want it to be symmetrical, and I've got 6 petals in total, and I want the other half to be exactly the same as that. This is going to be a funny looking flower. I will then trace it and then turn it around. And then I've got my perfectly symmetrical flower. It's a little bit wonky, but you get the idea. That's how I use mine an awful lot. But again, if you do have books with patterns in, then it's quite nice to keep your book intact, isn't it? So that's that. But if you're tracing off, I do this every time, don't I? Take the pen lid off and put it somewhere. Last time it was on the end of the pen. I did check, but it's a double-ended pen, so that's not it. Every time, honestly. How do I do that? It will, it will turn up after the end of the show when we're finished. If you're tracing off larger patterns, then you can literally just move this around. If you need to keep anything in place, if you're doing something really intricate, then simply put some masking tape over the top of it. That's not going to damage the... It's not actually glass, which is quite good. It's perspex. So even if you drop it, it may crack, but it's not going to shatter. And I like the way that you've got the different strengths of light as well. And you've got a very kind of even light across here. So what are you doing at the moment when you're tracing off patterns? Holding it up against the TV or your computer screen, or are you holding it up against the window? Not ideal, is it? But this is, and again, it's easy to store because it's only A4 in size. So it's £32.99, and I think you're going to get a lot of use out of it. I do use mine an awful lot. In fact, I do have 2 light boxes. So there you go. I have one in each room. One in my sewing room and one in my kitchen. I know it's just greedy, but I know. So £32.99. You want to order again, have a look on the website on sewingstreet.com, and you can place your order that way. Right, let's move those, let's organise those. Still looking for that pen lid. Let's take a look at our panels. And now when we launched these, it was a few weeks ago now, we sold out. And it was the traditional one, I think, sold out straight away. Excuse me. This is the alphabet in upper and lowercase, and you have your numbers down there as well. You may need extra letters depending on what it is that you're making, but you can always order a couple of them. Go for as many as you like. I made a cube last time these were on, like an ABC, a toy. But it could be bunting, maybe. You're putting a name on PE bags and things like that when the kids are going back to school. Personalising cushion covers, maybe even a jumper or a sweatshirt. So we've got more of the A's and the B's and the... Oh, look, 4 O's, look, woo! Capital letters and lowercase as well. And then your numbers down there too. Now, lots of you, like I said, we sold out of all of these, all 3 panels, when we launched them. So I'd like to know what you've made with them. You know, it's only £5.99 and that's everything that you're getting, so you've got great value. But what did you make? Was it bunting? Was it for a special birthday? Have you been monogramming the kids' clothes? Maybe on the back of a jacket? Signs for doors, maybe, open and close, keep out. Mum's room, kitchen, what, an apron maybe with names on the front. What did you do? Come and show some pictures. Love to see them. So that's your traditional. Then we have, whoops, the brights. And that one. Nice shape to cut out these as well. That makes sense. They're not too intricate. So again, this is £5.99. It's almost 1.5 meters in length. So wash bag that says washing, maybe one side for coloureds and one side for whites. What else are you going to do with these? I think just decorating a nursery would be nice with names and letters. Well, not even necessarily spelling out names, just lots and lots of letters on I don't know, on toys and bags and cubes and things like that. Nice bright colours. I like the way that they're not just plain colours as well. Oops. They're all printed, so we've got spots and dots and little lines and things like that. And lovely bold bright colours too. And again, that is just £5.99, and that's everything that you're getting. There's loads there. And remember, oops, if you don't have your early bird yet, I would suggest, if you're going to go for these panels, you go for your Bonder web as well if you haven't got any already. It makes it an awful lot easier to sew them on, or just stick them on. If you're making bunting, I did make some happy birthday bunting as well, and I did not a stitch was sewn, which is very unusual in my life. But I'm thinking bunting isn't going to go in the wash, is it? So It was a very quick make, but using the Bond web, so make sure you get your early bird. Half the stock sold out of that. Right, and then here we've got the grey. And I think this is nice. A lot of people these days are having neutral colours in nurseries. So contemporary, stylish. I like the different colours of greys, and they're all printed as well. So they're not just block colours. A little bit more grown up, I think, this one. A little bit more elegant. And again, it's only £5.99. And look at that, you've got spots and dots and raindrops and little stripes, lots of different kind of texture on this, which makes it a little bit more interesting, isn't it, than just one plain colour. So £5.99 is your price. And again, you get all of that. It's a good price, isn't it? All on 100% cotton, exclusive to Sewing Street, and designed and printed in the UK. Brights is in the lead. Brights is, it is, isn't it? Brights is in the lead at the moment. So again, you get twice as much as that. And again, they do sell out. We'll try and get some. Oh, sorry, we'll try and get some more when they do come back again. But when they do sell out. But at the moment, this is it, and it's really, really popular. Now we do have, remember the early bird is the 2 packs of Bondaweb. We have more, if that's just not enough for you. We've got the big roll. So that's a 5-metre roll. That's the one that I'd go for, to be honest, because I'd use so much of it. So it's £23.99. That is going to last and last and last. Just tuned in, big white sheet of paper. So £23.99 is your price there. And again, you've got 5 metres by 30 centimetres in depth. So that's that one. Oh, now then, our new light box, our A3 light box. There's less than 20 of these remaining now. First time we brought you an A4 one. Just because it's smaller doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to get the bigger patterns on there. You just need to move them around a little bit. And in fact, you've got grippy pads on the bottom of this, so it's not going to slip. So if you did want to put it down and have a larger piece, maybe put it on your cutting mat, and then you can stick your larger pattern to the mat and just trace over the area that you need to. So you can actually, you're not limited to A4 patterns, basically, is what I was going to say. But most of your books, if this is why you're buying it, to trace off patterns from books, are going to be this kind of size, aren't they? And again, I don't like cutting up books. I don't like taking pages out of books. So that's £32.99. And you've got those 3 different light settings as well. Let's have a look at should we do some? Should we do a little bit of something? Let's go for the greys. I like the greys because it just happened to be in my hand. I'll switch the iron on. We'll need that iron on as well. What shall we make? I think we'll make. Should we make a sewing room sign? Do a sign, couldn't we? Okay. Could do a sewing street. I'm going to use my rose gold scissors, which come in a gift pack with a smaller pair of scissors, some pins and a thimble as well. Haven't got any open already, have we? These are coming up in the next hour, but you can get ahead of the game. Sure, we had some open. So yes, if you're thinking of gifts for oh, for goodness sake, for people who sew. Oh, thank you. Magic, isn't it, in TV world? Can't get that back in there. We go. If you're thinking of gifts for people who sew, it's very difficult to buy for people who sew because we can be quite fussy. We know the fabric that we like, and we've probably got it, and we've got our sewing machines, we're all sorted. But having something personal to put in your sewing room, I think, is a lovely idea. So let's go in here. So you can make up the sign. I'm just cutting this roughly out. And then maybe with a name on there as well. I could have Debbie's Sewing Room. So S. And then an E. There's an awful lot of letters here to be getting on with. So again, I'm just cutting them out roughly. So S, E. Let's just do so for now. Where are you? I've lost my W. There we are. And again, you order more than one if you don't see all of the letters that you need on here. Because I'm sure they're always going to come in useful. So, and yeah, we'll just stick with the 3 for now. I'll have a little bit of bonder web on the back. So remember, you've got your early bird there. We do still have a few of those left, or you can go for the 5-metre roll. And I'm just going to, we don't have the applique mats. If I had applique mats, I'd be using that so I don't get glue on my iron. So I'm just ironing without touching the glue side with the iron. Can always go over that again in a bit. And then that's going there. And make the most of this, I think. I think I might make a little storage bag actually instead of a sign, because I'm thinking with the sign I'm going to need something quite stiff, like a foam or something to put it on. And then we can cut around here carefully. You could leave a little bit of a white border if you wanted to. There is enough fabric to do so. And let's go around here. I did with the pieces that I did on the bunting, I did leave the white bit around the edge, thinking I don't really need to cut out all the intricate bits. And it looked okay actually, you know, like the middle of A's and things like that. There we go. Nice way of upcycling as well, isn't it? Making things a little bit different. That denim jacket, you can just make it, refresh it, give it a little bit more life by adding some wording on the back of it. I'm trying to, we could actually make spelling games out of these, couldn't we? So if you cut out all of the letters individually and then put a little bit of a firm interfacing, you know, like the Decaville ones, the ones that are like, that feel like leather, the really stiff ones. And then, so I'd stick these on with the bonder web onto the interfacing. Obviously not a fusible interfacing, just something really heavy and sew in. And then cut them all out. And then you've got a really nice game. Or little bean bags. My granddaughter loves doing things with letters. You know, the foam ones that they have in the bath. She's got loads of them. There's all the letters and everything. 2, which is brilliant. Okay, I'm going to leave the middle in that E. There we go. So that's, though I need those. And let's take, oh, that looks nice. Right. So let's just press the creases out of this one. I always like to iron my fabric before I get going, just in case there's any creases. Just looks nicer, doesn't it? I don't like working with creased up fabric. So just check we've got any messages from you this morning. Oh, Sue sent it. I should put that on Facebook. Oh, Sue has emailed some pictures of what she made. Oh, that's nice. She says, good morning, Debbie. This is one of the strips of bunting made for my granddaughter to help her with her numbers. What a lovely idea. Oh, and you've put the buttons on with a, that's such a good idea. So she can count the buttons and then she knows what the number looks like. That's a great idea. Love that. Right, that'll do for that. I've got 2 pieces there. No, so we need to chop that up. So we'll do it about that big. A little bit of make it up as you go along again. We tend to do this every week, don't we? What shall we do today? I've got some great fabrics, some batiks coming up in the last hour. No idea what I'm going to make with those. So again, any suggestions? You didn't come up with anything last week. So I just made another bag. I'm making a bag in the next hour. I can make more than bags, just FYI. But we don't have much time in an hour to make an awful lot more. I did oven gloves the other day, didn't I? That. So that's going to be the front of my bag. My drawstring, how should we do that? Should we do it at the top? We'll do that at the top. And so that's going to gather up like that. So I want to make sure that I can actually read this. So that's going to go about there, just on the one side, like that. Not too close to the edge because I don't want to interfere with the seam allowance. We could do a jaunty angle. But we'll do it straight. We'll do that the right way around. Okay, so with your bond web, just give it a bit of a scratch on the back, a pin or the end of your scissors or something, and this peels away. And it's not sticky or anything at the moment, so I can reposition as often as I like. And come on off. There we go, just one bit left there. If it doesn't stick first time, you can actually feel the glue on the back, it's shiny. But if it doesn't stick straight away, then just re-iron it just to make sure that you're getting the glue off the paper. Nice hot iron, as hot as your fabric will take, but no steam. So there's my W, which could double up as an M if you haven't got enough M's for whatever word you're making. We're bag making in the next hour. I've put some new kits together for you with my Madison bag, and the limited edition one is actually selling out. It's not till the next hour, right? So that's that. Not saying anything. Not saying anything at all. Then we iron this down, and again, no steam, nice hot iron. So that could be it. You know, this is just a drawstring bag to store some of my bits and bobs in. I don't need to sew around there, really. What time is it? No, I shan't actually, or shall we? We could do, couldn't we? We could free motion embroider. Should we do that? All right. Any suggestions welcome. I've no idea what I'm doing. Right, have we got a free motion embroidery foot maybe? Thank you. There's bound to be one in here, isn't there? I've been asked twice now, Hannah. Sorry, chatting to producer in my ear at the moment. Apologies. Are we getting the 720 back in stock again? We shall find out and let you know. We'll do something else, I think. Thank you. I've got pink thread in there as well. We'll find out and let you know. I did get a couple of questions yesterday, but I'm afraid I didn't know. Jenny's messaged in. Hi, Jenny. And she says, morning, Debbie and all at Sewing Street. Morning. Love catching up with you on a Sunday morning. Thank you very much. I like being here. An idea for making later in the show. All right, okay. A child's doll outfit, right, or a storage box, or a wall pocket hanger. Let's do a wall pocket hanger. Let's do that. Oh, and then you could put letters on the front, couldn't you? I'll do that then, yes. Wall pocket hanger. Thank you, Jenny. Bernadette's messaged in. Morning, Debbie and crew. I finally managed to do a PE bag. I did my first sewing in years, and it's because of you, Debbie. Oh, blame me. I learned to clean and troubleshooting problems. I can't thank you enough. It's a pleasure. I have mental health problems and memory and do not fast anymore, so I'm delighted to have a clean machine and a working machine. It's a problem reverse. It has a problem reversing. Sometimes it nests at the bottom. Everything else so far is very good. Very grateful, and I feel useful that I've achieved all the time. Oh, we use Marvel Comics fabric. Oh gosh, this is a long one. We may be a while. So thank you to Sewing Street and Debbie and all the teams. Nesting, Bernadette, underneath your fabric is a top tension or a top thread problem. It's probably something. It's not. Don't adjust your tension because it won't be a tension adjustment solution. It will be somewhere as your thread's going through all of the different tensions that it's missed. That's the most common thing. So it's either jumped out of the take-up lever, or you haven't followed all of the little bits, or there's some reason why too much thread is actually coming off. So if it's not a tension, because that'll pull it back, it's too much thread coming off. Try rethreading your machine and try using a different brand of thread. I don't know how that works, but sometimes sewing machines just don't like the brand you're using. So try a different brand if you have one, and that may work. I hope that's helped. I'm just going to use a straight stitch just to sew around the edge. Or should no, let's do a zigzag stitch. We'll do a zigzag. I'll do a little test first, just to make sure that my zig and my zag are at the right distance from each other, because I don't want a wide zigzag, but I don't want a satin stitch, which are very close together zigzag, because we'll be here all day. So we'll have a narrow short stitch. And I'm not concerned about this fraying, remember, because I've got my my Bonder web on it, on the back of it. So let's move slowly around the curve. All I'm doing is feeding the edge of the fabric through, or go down, through the centre of the foot. And that should mean that I'm missing a little bit. Normally, you see, I'm like this when I'm doing applique, so I can see exactly where it's going. But if I do that, you can't see. Well, you can see what I'm doing. Okay, all right. So you can't see up my nose from there, can you? Just got a bit of thread cut. There we go. If we have any of those little lamps in stock, this would be an ideal time to use one. You know, the little lamps that go on the back of the LED lamps that you can have at the back of your sewing machine, to really give you a nice clear view of what you're doing. When you're stopping going around a curve, make sure you stop with the needle on the right hand side, because then you don't leave any gaps. And when you're stopping on a concave side or a V shape like that, stop with the needle on the left hand side, so that you don't have any gaps. Slow down. There you go, and back down the last side. Oh, that went a bit wobbly. I may need to put a button on that. Unpicking applique satin stitches isn't the easiest thing to do, so better to disguise it than try and unpick it. Right, so that's the first one. Oh, looks nice in pink actually. The pink and the grey goes really well together. For speed's sake, let's do a different stitch for the next one. We've got a blanket stitch on here. Yeah, 34. There we go. So I have a blanket stitch on this one. Oh, that's not a blanket stitch. 34. Oh, it's the number on the top. 24 are needed. Another button on that one. Always practice first. Oh, look what I've done now. Always practice first and never sew on telly. I will unpick that because that's a big satin stitch, so that's quite easy to do. There. Nobody would know. Well, apart from you. Oh, just to let you know, my Madison bag for the next hour, the limited edition, we haven't even seen it yet. Oh, we've only got 4 left. I was going to demo that one as well. I'll have to demo it because I haven't got anything else to do. Okay. Well, we did call it limited edition. Oh, this is a nice little stitch. The limited edition one has a faux leather base to it in like a mint colour, which makes it a little bit special. Right. Stop with the needle down, around this way. Just around the corner. Again, you take your time with this at home and, you know, make sure that your stitches flow nicely. That's a nice stitch. I like that stitch. There we go. That's what we're looking like now. I'm not going to go around the middle of the E because we've only got 20 minutes left. I would do normally. And on the S, what should we do on the S? I'll just do a straight stitch on the S. Switch your machine off and on again to default back to a straight stitch. It's weird, it wasn't switching off. It were. Okay, so I'm just stitching just around the inside. That's it. So again, take it easy going around the curves. Stop with your needle down when you're pivoting. And I've only used 3 letters out of that whole panel as well. So you could have one for your fat quarters and scraps. You'd have another one to keep all of your threads in and bits and bobs like that. Maybe another one to keep tools in. So if you need to keep your rotary cutters and things like that out of the way, if you've got little ones in the house, then you could, whoa, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. You could store them in these, so you know, put them all in a drawstring bag and hang them up somewhere high where they can't be reached. It could be your UFOs. You know, if you're halfway through a quilt, you can make a big bag to keep it in. Or if you're sewing on the go, so maybe you're doing some hand sewing, a bit of smocking or embroidery or English paper piecing, then you can store all of your bits and bobs in there. You can never have enough storage, can you? These two are going to go right sides together. And I'll need to leave a gap in the top so that I can put some thread through there. So different ways of doing this. So I think if you do that, and that goes there. So that needs to be like that. Then I'll need a gap there. So that. Okay, so we're going to sew from about 2 inches down on each side. So we'll have a mark there. I've not just lost the lid, I've lost the blooming pen now. So we just start sewing from there. And I'm going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm not going to finish the seams, I would do normally. Maybe trimming with a pair of pinking shears or something like that. Well, not something like that, trim with a pair of pinking shears. That would work. So it's nice to have things neat on the inside as well, isn't it? Particularly if you're going to give this as a gift. Really simple project though, isn't it? It's really quick, but just one way of using up your letters. Morning, Dawn. She's loving today's show. Oh, thank you. Was that it? Is that what she said? That's all right. So I was waiting for the rest of the message. Dawn's with us every morning. Okay, up to the mark that I made and just reverse back to lock those stitches in. Then I'm going to press that seam at the top open just to make it neat. Like so. Like so. I'm glad you like the bags. We should have done the bags in the first hour, shouldn't we? Then we might have actually got to see them without selling out of everything. Mind you, I shall confess in the next hour. Because you're not going to get to see them. Because I forgot to bring them. Right, so that's that. And then I'm just going to sew or top stitch around that shape. And that's going to make that bit nice and neat. So down there, across there and back up there again. So bags in the next hour. If you've seen any of the bags on whatever Facebook page you've been looking at, anything, or tune in because I quite fancy one of those, I wouldn't bother. I'd go and place your order now because it doesn't look like we're going to have many left. Right, we have that limited edition one, the mint one. We've only got one left and we had more stock of that than anything else. I can't keep up with you. Okay, then we'll do the same on this side. This is where the drawstring's going to go, which could be a ribbon, it could be a piece of cord. You could even make one out of the same fabric. All right, across here, middle down, back up again. And there, so we've got nice neat front. Then we can trim off all the bits. Because I haven't lined this, then I don't want to see all of these little threads. I can normally hide things like that inside seams, but you can't when you can see the seam like this. Then we're going to align it down because that's going to make it easier. Whoops. Hi, Sue. Sue's loving the show this morning. Thank you. It's nice to have a bit of sewing on a Sunday morning, isn't it? It's nice to have a bit of sewing every morning. That's my world. Okay, so I'm just pressing that down and I'm going to fold over that way. I did do a bit of gardening. I thought it was quite late on in the afternoon the other day when it was nice and hot and I can't sit still. I'm going to just go and sit outside and enjoy the sunshine and I can't actually sit still. So I did an awful lot of weeding. So there we go, that goes there, that goes there. There, so now I've got a nice neat opening for the drawstring with again more threads hanging off there. Threads there. Then I'll sew around the top. Just make sure there's enough room for the actual drawstring to go through. There we go. And so again, there's different ways you can do this. You could actually put a piece of bias binding or ribbon straight across the front and leave the ends open and thread your drawstring through. Folding over twice at the top is probably the easiest way to do it. When you're threading your string through, a safety pin would be the safety pin on the end of it is going to be the easiest way to thread it through, unless you have a specialist tool. Clover do something that looks like a big blue needle with a hole in the end of it that you just put your cord into and then poke it through. So let's make that the same. So I've just got a little gap at the top there. That's where my drawstring is going to go. And you can do 2 drawstrings or 1 drawstring. So 2 drawstrings going in opposite directions make for a good closure. So just round there. I don't even know if I've got any ribbon. So not prepped for this one. Always the case. So Sunday mornings are 4, isn't it? Okay, that's it there. Back in the. Whoa, I was going to go backwards there. Missed the button. That goes there. And then we'll trim all of those threads back to make it neat. There we go. Now the alphabet panels, the brights one is the most popular one. I'll show you that again in just a second. Let's turn this the right side out. Push out the corners with my Hera marker. I like tools that have more than one purpose. And there. And right. Oh, let's give that a press while I've got the eye in there as well. May as well. Things always look better when they're ironed, don't they? So pull out the seams. I just need to tidy those threads at the end. It's not very neat there. And then thread my ribbon through, which I don't have because I wasn't really planning on doing that. I'd do 1 thread that way and another thread that way, so cord, and then when you draw them up, these bits of thread everywhere, look. When you pull it up, it'll gather evenly from each side, and then you've got a nice little bag that you can keep your sewing bits and bobs in. So I reckon we should keep this in the studio. I'll put some cord around the top. It must have some cord somewhere. I'll put some cord around the top of it, and then we can hang it up and keep things that we don't know where to file them in the studio. So this is the brights. This is your favourite. We've got less than 20 of these remaining now. So we've got uppercase, lowercase, and you've got the numbers on there as well. And it's just loads of fun, isn't it? So we've seen bunting, and I made a toy cube with 6 letters on it last time we brought these to you. It's only £5.99. So you could be personalising your bags or jackets or T-shirts and sweatshirts. Remember to put your Bonder Web on your order as well. If you're going for the early bird, check out your baskets for that one, sharpish. And it's just they're just so easy to use. So, and personalising things, particularly with kids, they love it, don't they? Anything with their names on or a label on it. So lovely bright colours, the blues and the purples and the yellows and the pale blues, and then you've got all of your numbers down that look zzz. Oh, that'd be fun on a pillowcase, wouldn't it? Just all the Z's. And then you've got 0 through to 9 there as well. All for £5.99. And you could use practically any colour as a contrast, couldn't you? I mean, we've got all of these colours in front of us here, and I could literally close my eyes, pick that one out, and it goes. I'd have picked a brighter one, actually, if I'd have had my eyes open. But with the, you can see there on the front, all of those bright colour fabrics, every one of them will go with this. So it doesn't actually take very much to create something amazing. £5.99 is your price. The grey that I was using, I've just seen some more down here. I should have used the one I was given to cut up, really, shouldn't I? Instead of cutting up somebody's order. If you get yours home and there are 3 letters missing and they happen to be S, E and W, nothing to do with me. Where did I put? Oh, it's there. That's the grey one. A quarter of the stock of the... Can you imagine it? Imagine your disappointment if you open the packet and you got this. You will get a complete one with all of the letters on there, including S, E and W. It's through the keyhole. Who lives in a studio like this? £5.99 is your price there. And again, 100% cotton and exclusive to Sewing Street. This must be a whole one, unless I've already cut into that one as well. Oh, I have. Oh. I owe you £5.99, Sewing Street. Send me a bill. Well, things never go according to plan, do they? Oh well. So that's the brights, that's the greys. This is the traditional. So colour-wise, these are a little bit more, they're not as bright and bold as the brights, a little bit more almost vintage colours, I think, with these. So they're more of a rusty colour red, and you've got the nice kind of marmalade, burnt orange kind of colours there. And that again is £5.99. I bet there's going to be a lot of personalised birthday bunting made with these, I'm thinking. Now your Bonder web, which I think you're going to need, I'd go for the roll, personally. Although your early bird is great value, this is a great big roll. It's only £23.99, and there is 5 metres by 30 metres in total. It's a Valaiseline, so you know you've got nice quality as well. And that's, I even like the way it stands up on its own. It's easy to store as well. I put an elastic band around it to stop it unravelling. £23.99 is your price there. And then the early bird has almost now sold out. This is 2 packets of the Bonder web with a saving of £1.50. So you're getting 2 of that for £4.48. So there's still plenty there. You'll be able to get most of your letters out of these. I mean, you could order more than one. If you don't want to go for the big roll, if we have more than one left, you could order 2 or 3 of those. Let's have a look how many you need. Doing your shopping for you now. So that's 1, that's 2. You'd need 2 packets, and then you'd have some left over. So there we go. 2 packets? No, you need 2 early birds. That's in 1 packet, so you'd need to order 2, but you'd only use half of one of the second one. So you'd have loads left, and that's still under £10 if you wanted to order 2 early birds. But do be quick for those, because I don't think they're going to last very much longer. Right, that's that. That's that. Got any more messages? Oh, now we've got a message that came through to the Sewing Street fans. But I'm not on Sewing Street fans, but Hannah producer has sent me a picture that was on the Sewing Street fans page of the cutest dog from Lynn. She says, enjoying the show so far. We had an early start at 5 AM this morning with our new puppy. Only brought him home yesterday. He's a pom-pom. That is the cutest little thing. Oh, that's one of my favourite things in the whole world. The smell of puppies. Don't they just smell just gorgeous? Anyhow. Oh, we've got a message from Dawn about the next hour. Oh, got this one. Hi, Dawn. She says, I'm in love with the bags, especially the Birds of Paradise. They're beautiful, but the frames scare me. Sunday morning with you is my perfect day. Oh, thank you, Dawn. It's my perfect day too. Yeah, so I've got 2 ways of putting frames in, so I should show that. And well, that's the next hour, isn't it? Keep on about these bags. That's coming up in the next hour. Oh, the light box has been really popular as well. The first time we've had the small one, this is the A4 size. It's still got the 3 light settings and it is still big enough to trace off patterns. So I don't think you need to go for a huge light box. What I would do with a larger pattern, let's switch this on. You on? There you go. If I had a larger pattern, I haven't got a large piece of paper to trace this off onto, but you'll get the idea. I'd have it on my table or on my cutting mat. And this is a child's pattern, so it doesn't really have a lot of grading on it. Oh, there we go, that's quite a few bits. So I'd open this all up, not going to do it now. And then to trace it off, I'm knocking everything off everywhere. I'd put my paper over the top and just trace one little bit. And then simply move this underneath and then trace the next bit and move it and trace the next bit. So it is doable to trace off a really big pattern. Because if you've got, so this is a children's dress pattern. I think this was on yesterday, wasn't it? We've got 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 as the sizes. But if you cut into one of those sizes, you're not going to be able to make the others because you cut your pattern up. So if you've got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old and you want to make the same outfit for them, you trace this off onto paper. My mum used to use newspaper, which isn't ideal, but just trace it off onto a large piece of paper and then your pattern's still intact. So you can just fold this away. Or if you just love the style of something, some designs are just so classic. As your child grows, you may want to keep making it for them. Or if you're using patterns for yourself and you don't actually cut the pattern up and then your best mate says, oh, I like that, can you make me one? Which is not exactly the same size as you don't have to go out and buy another pattern. Because they can be quite expensive, can't they? So that's your little light box. Brand new for you today. Right, now then, coming up next is a little bit of bag making with some new bags that I put together for you. The limited edition one has sold out now, and we haven't even started the show yet. But I will be demoing with that one anyhow. They're all made up the same way, but I will be demoing that one anyhow. Okay, it's busy, isn't it, this morning? Right, I need to tidy up a little bit and think of an excuse why I've cut into something that I shouldn't do and get myself out of trouble in that respect. So go and put the kettle on and I shall see you again in a couple of minutes.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hi there, my name's Alison Marion and I'm thrilled to be joining the Sewing Street family. I live in Staffordshire, where I run a couple of sewing groups, and I have a passion for vintage sewing machines and also applique. I've stitched in some form for as long as I can remember, but I absolutely love teaching and helping people stretch their skills and hopefully demystifying some of the techniques that can be quite daunting for beginners. So I'm looking forward to meeting the team and getting into the studio. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick unpick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon. Hello, welcome back to Sewing Street, and my name's Debbie Shaw, and in this hour I was going to be bringing you 3 Madison bag kits. I'm now going to be bringing you 2 Madison bag kits because the limited edition one has sold out in the previous hour. If you're not sure what a Madison bag is, let me show you the picture on the front. It's quite a big bag. And in fact, I'll show you the picture on the front. And it's got a really lovely frame with it as well. I'll go through that in just a second. It's actually a lot easier to make than it looks, but it really is, I think, a very stylish bag. I've made loads of these in different types of fabric. I did put a picture, in fact, there's a picture on the Facebook page. I put one on mine as well, and you really did love it. This is one that's sold out, but we do have different colour options for you. And they're all equally as stylish. They're just, I think they're lovely. I love the frames. This is going to make a little bit of a rustle as I'm opening this, I'm afraid. Just see if that a snip. There we go. Now this is a sew-in, so you can see it's quite big. The bag's like this big, it's quite a big one. It's a sew-in frame, and it's got 2 kiss clasps either side as well, so it's nice and firm. But I've glued it in, and the instructions will tell you how to do that. So I'll go through this later on, but basically I find it easier to glue in than to sew in, and it's a lot less time consuming. And when you've got the right glue, and I'm using the HT2, you do get a really firm bond. I've tried to take one of these frames out of a bag before now, and I couldn't get it out. It really does stick hard. So I sew through the holes first of all to make it look as though it's been sewn in, and then I will actually glue it in, but I'll explain that later on. In your kit, in the Birds of Paradise, which is this one, we don't even have 10 of these left now, you'll have a silver frame. The other option that we have is the leopard one, and that will have a bronze frame. It's not bold bronze, it's just a little bit warmer than the silver. So this one will be the lining and the bottom of the bag. And this is a Birds of Paradise canvas, which is going to be on the top, so it's a really nice sturdy fabric. With the leopard option, you have a black spot for the lining and the base of the bag, and the leopard print is a very heavy cotton. It's not textured like the canvas is, but it's a really heavy duty cotton. So you've got a really good weight to both of those. So you get enough fabric, obviously, to do the bag, to do the lining. There would be a little bit left over if you wanted to add a patch pocket or something on the inside. There's the frame included. There's 2 D-rings. You have a faux leather strap. These are easy to sew through as well. I'll show you that later on. And you have your embroidery thread, so that's going to be sewn through there. And you've got your Valaiseline H640 as well. So it's literally everything you need. Those are your instructions. So all photographic instructions, really simple and easy to follow. And you have your pattern there as well. So full-size pattern on A3. So that's literally everything that you need to make the bag. And again, if you wanted to add a zip pocket or a patch pocket on the inside or something with a magnetic snap, you'll have to add those to them. So that's that. That's that. So this is the Birds of Paradise and lilac spot. This is the leopard. So the leopard's got the black spot. You can see the colour of the frame there. It's just a little bit warmer. So again, you'll have your D-rings, you'll have your faux leather strap and your full instructions, your H640 and your embroidery thread pattern and instructions are all included in that one. Right, should we get making something? I've left a big box at home, and my big box had the finished bags in it, and actually all of those leopard kits are in the big box at home, which is why I can't show you what it looks like when it's finished. I'm sorry. I'd have a couple of hours journey when I'm coming to work in the morning, and mulling things over, I got as far as the end of the M6, which is about an hour and a half away from home, and I just went, oh, no! And I actually looked at my watch thinking, I've got time to turn around and go home and come. I wouldn't be here now if I'd gone back to get them, I'm afraid. So I've never done that before. I'm so sorry. But at least we got pictures. At least we got pictures, hey? Right. So let's get going. I'm not demoing this one. I'm going to demo the the limited edition one, because we haven't got enough of those. So that can go back. That can go back up there. So that's that. Right. Now you will. The only extra thing that you're going to need is your glue. If you're going to glue the frames in, you don't have to glue the frames in. You could sew them in. I shall explain later. But do add some of this to your order if you want to glue them in. It's the only glue that I would really recommend for gluing frames into bags. Seriously, it's a really, really strong glue. And this is a big bag, so you're going to need something that's really, really strong. I use it a lot. I'll use it if I'm sewing buttons on something decoratively. I'll put a little bit of glue behind there, decoratively, as in maybe eyes on toys and things like that. If I'm hand sewing things like little ears on toys and things, I'll put a little drizzle of glue over the stitches. Rag dolls, with my rag dolls, you sew the hair straight down the middle, and then she's got bunches either side. But I've lifted up the hair, and her hair, and just run glue along the underside of it, because on things like that, I'm thinking I've got 2 granddaughters, and I don't want pulling hair and it coming out. So it's a really useful little tube to have in your sewing stash, so order those. Right. Now the leopard option's been really busy. I'm working with the one that's sold out, so I'm sorry about this, but this is the one that I've prepped, so I'm going with it. But the details on your screen are for the leopard one, so that's with the black spots. And leopards, of course. Right. The first thing we're going to do is to make this straight, because as they've been cut, they may not necessarily be straight, and we need them to be straight. So that's that. Oh, look what I've done, or what I haven't done. I'm going to need a ruler, I'm afraid. Honestly. so not prepared. Thank you. I got all dishevelled on the way in this morning, so I was a little bit flustered when I got here this morning. Right, so we'll chop off that selvage. It's the same process for whichever of the bags you're making. And then let's make this square and straight. Like so. Is that square and straight? That looks square and straight to me. If you're using, well, the top fabrics are all directional fabrics, so just make sure you're going to get those the right way round. So this is the bottom fabric with your spot. It doesn't matter because it's non-directional. And what am I doing? So I'm trimming the top of the bottom section to make it straight, and then we'll trim the bottom of the top section to make that straight as well. So there's the top. I'll have to try and get some more of these, won't I? So just make sure that's the right way round. It won't be the same as this one, I have to say. It won't be exactly the same. So selvage is off. And let's just make the bottom of this one straight. Like that. That goes there, that goes there. And that's there. Aren't these brilliant? I like old Ferrotra cutters. These are the ones that I use at home. And I'm just used to them. I know there's lots of different brands, but I'm just used to these. It's left or right-handed. You can simply swap the blades over. It's easy to unlock as well, so always make sure that you lock that when you're finished with it. 45mm is the most useful size of all of the different rotary cutters. I do have all of them because they do have a place. I do have a 16, a 28 and an 18 actually, but 45 is the one that you're going to use most of all. Yeah, it's just really ergonomic, easy to use, and a must-have for cutting straight lines. That's so much easier than cutting with scissors. So that's that. That's all we need for that at the moment. So that can go back down there. Then we're going to sew the two pieces together. In fact, I'll cut that down a little bit because we don't need it to be that big. I do need the pattern out of that one. So you can see the pattern's actually on fold. So that and that, we've got plenty enough to cut that in half and just make it a little bit easier size-wise. And that one. I'll cut that out in a minute. Right. Oh, have the leopards gone? Oh, so the leopards have sold out. The birds of paradise, there's two left. That's this one. I didn't need to bring in finished samples or anything. I'd try that again, I think. Two left of this one. If it's in your basket, please check out because that's going to go. Oh, okay. Right, so this is going to go right sides together. We'll just have an hour of sewing a bag then, shall we? Bird of paradise, one left. Right. I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I've got a hair right in my nose. I got you. Let's do this. Let's do that. Now then, I have a feeling on this machine the needle thread is bent, isn't it? So let's see if we can do it by eye. There we go. And what I also need is a walking foot. You don't need a walking foot for anything apart from the faux leather. Should we do this? This is the Elna 680. You don't need a big fancy machine to, so I'm looking for a screwdriver, no, there we go, to make the bags, because you're only going to use a straight stitch. But if you are up for a new sewing machine, this one is beautiful. So it comes with a walking foot, and the walking foot is going to clip around. So I've taken the ankle off, so the thing that normally holds the foot on, I've unscrewed that and taken it off. So this will now clip around the same place, but this bar here needs to go on top of the needle clamp, which is the screw that holds the needle in place, like so. And this enables the teeth on the top inside the foot to feed the fabric through at the same rate as the feed dogs do underneath. So if you're sewing a laminated fabric, which faux leather is, then that helps. Otherwise, if you have a non-stick foot or a Teflon foot or a roller foot on your sewing machine, that'll help as well. So just down here, so right sides together. Switch the machine on, helps. I've got last one. I've got 2 foot pedals down here. Oh, come on. Now this is a little bit noisier than your regular, my needle's just come undone, than your regular foot, because there's a lot of mechanics going on inside the foot itself. So why have you come undone? It's never going to answer me, is it? Be funny if it did. It'll happen one day, I've said before. Sewing machines that talk to you. Mind you, might not be a good idea in my house. Leave me alone. You're overworking me. I can't keep up. So I'm just giggling to myself because I'm just imagining this little voice in the middle of the night going, help. Help me before she gets up in the morning. Okay, so again, just a straight stitch. I don't need the walking foot particularly at this stage, it's for the top stitching that I'm going to do in just a second. That we need it for. Oh, look at the speed of this machine. Oh yeah. So that's that. Beautiful. And then we're going to open up the seam. And I'm going to top stitch along each side. So I'm not pressing it because you don't iron onto the faux leather. You can do, of course, if you're using any of the other fabrics. So let's do there. I'm going to make the stitch a little bit longer because this is a decorative stitch. It doesn't need to be a strong seam. And I'm just creasing the seam open as I'm going, just so it doesn't fold under. So just keep going. You could actually use some of your fabric glue pens just inside the seam to hold it flat if you wanted to. So you don't have to do this as you go. Doesn't really matter if it's not flat. On the underside, it doesn't make any difference with the way that the bag looks. I'm saying that just as an excuse, just in case I haven't cut all of the fabric, you do realise. And down to here. So, do you know, I love designing bags. And with this one, I wanted quite a large bag because you can use, I mean, the frame's big, you know, it's a nice substantial bag. But you can actually make a large bag from quite a small frame, just giving it lots of body. But I wanted a bag that was easy to make, that had lots and lots of room inside it. Because little bags are nice, but I like a bag that you can actually fit things in. And it's an elegant look, so I wanted elegant fabric to go with it as well. And I don't know why I called it Madison, I just thought it was a nice name. I thought it suited it. Just come flat. There we go. And that's for no reason apart from, I think it looks nice to have a little bit of top stitching. It gives a professional finish to your bag. So we'll do the same with the other side here. Angie's ordered her limited edition. Well done. That went out. That sold out ages ago now. So again, across there. I know what we like. We had loads as well. It wasn't like there was only 2 or anything. Oh, wrong pedal. So I'm so glad you like it. I mean, the comments that came through, immediately the picture went on Facebook. It's really nice. And when you come up with a design and you've chosen the fabric, and things take time, you know, even the photography of all of the instructions and drawing up the instructions, and it takes a long time to put things like this together, and it's just so nice that you like it. I think it's the same with any designer or artist or author. When you're creating something that you're going to sell, basically, it's always at the back of your mind, oh, if nobody likes it. So it's a relief, and it's very flattering to know that you liked it as much as I do. So we're sewing away, we're not a lot to sell really, aren't we? So again, top stitch along each side. That's what I like about Sewing Street though. We don't say, right, sold out, let's get something else in. We carry on. We haven't got anything else to put in, that's what it is. Right. I could sell you a very nice sewing machine though. So again, I'm just creasing open the seam on the back. This is the kind of, putting in the frame is going to be the longest part of this, but this is a bag that you could easily make in half a day. There we go. Because it's not actually that difficult. So the frame's fiddly, but they all are. But it's worth it. All right, almost done this side. Then we'll just top stitch along the pattern section as well. You could be really brave and use a contrast of thread. And just go back down here. Look how fast this machine is. Gosh, it's quicker than mine. Sewing in straight lines, I know not everybody likes to sew quickly, but I do. And particularly when you've got larger items to sew, if it's curtains or if you're dressmaking and things like that. Okay. Then we'll cut out the pattern. Really, I'm starting from scratch with this one, because I thought we'd have loads of stock to spend the whole hour doing it, basically. One, to save your pattern. It is designed specifically for this clasp, which aren't very easy to come by on their own, to be honest. But if you've got another, how big is that? 11-inch frame that's square, just don't cut out that bit. That's the bit that goes around there like that. So you could still use it for different frames. That's that. Don't watch me use these scissors. Have we got paper scissors? Oh, oh. There, for paper specifically, so I'm not getting into trouble there. There we go. The cutting mat's nice as well, isn't it? This is a Janome one, which is quite new. Nice colour. Cutting mats are normally green. Double-sided, so you've got metric on one side and imperial on the other. It's quite a smart thing, that, isn't it? Okay, so done there. Then we're going to fold our fabric in half, making sure that the the seams line up here. It says place on fold, so make sure you get that the right way around. And this dotted line here goes over the top of the seam like so. So I'll have a few pins in there. Ow. Have a few pins in my thumb as well. So that can go there. I'm not going to pin on this side, unless it's well within the seam allowance. Just because I don't want to make holes in the faux leather. And then we'll cut. These are nice scissors. These are the ones that come in the gift pack with the little snips and the pins and the thimble as well. So that's a nice gift idea. Right, that there, there, down here. Like so. Do you know, I haven't brought the lining either. What am I like today? This one comes with a cream on cream lining with it. So that's, where's the other bit gone? On the floor. That goes there. And then we'll do the same with this side. So again, line up the seam at the side. Pattern goes on there with the dotted line over the top of the seam like so. That's lined up, that's lined up. That's there and that's in there. Could use your 404 spray to hold this down actually. If you didn't want to pin. Then we'll cut out. And then we'll put fleece on the wrong side. With the two that you've bought that don't have the faux leather, so the leopard and the birds of paradise, you can fuse fleece to the whole of the back of the bag. This one you don't because you've got faux leather there, so you won't be able to iron that from the top. But it's fine. And I shall show you. There we go. Right. So that's spare fabric, and there is enough there if you're careful with it to make a patch pocket if you wanted to. So I've got two of those. What I also need is a lining. I'm going to pinch some of this fabric. You will have you'll have white. It's like white on white, but it's cream with like a scroll finish to it. So that's the lining that you're going to have, which is a little bit posh. And then I'm going to cut two pieces of the lining from this. Like that. So literally cut around here. And down this side. So you could use a pattern again, but it's just as easy now. I've already got a template cut out, so to speak, to just use this into the corners. There and there. In you go. Sharp to the point scissors. I know I say it a lot, but that's one of the reasons why you like sharp to the point scissors. They aren't all like that. And this side. And I'm cutting both pieces of lining at the same time because it's easier. Oops. There we go. And just that one corner to cut out here. There. Now we'll put the H640 on the back, so I don't need that anymore. I'll need this. It does come in the bundle. You're getting everything that you need in that bundle. So this goes all over the back. Will it fit there? That was a generous piece of H640, if I say so myself. This just goes on the back, on the wrong side of the outer bag. Don't touch the faux leather with the iron because it'll melt. So we're just going to stick that down there. And then we'll cut that out. What you can do with this section, you can iron from the back, but if you do that, just really short blasts like that. Because if you hold the iron on this for too long, it'll start to melt it. The other option, if you have any, would be to use your 505 spray to hold that down. Now, you don't have to hold it down, so you know, don't rush out and buy this if you don't need to. But it's really useful if you do. So you can just sew that into the seam. You don't have to stick it down. It just helps a little bit. So, and in fact, if you haven't tried 505 spray before, try it. Use it for everything. Get through so much 505. I do a bite in bulk and everything. So cut around here now. And again, it doesn't really matter that this isn't stuck completely down. So don't worry if it's not. Down this side. And then we'll start sewing this thing together. So you could cut this with a rotary cutter. I just thought it might be quicker this way because I haven't got my mat out. There you go. So nice sharp scissors will be fine. If you don't have a rotary cutter ruler or mat as yet, I do suggest you buy one. But otherwise, scissors are a really important tool. As important as your sewing machine. And in fact, so is your iron. So I'm just going up to the edges now because I didn't want to touch the H640 with the iron. So that's one side, then we'll do the same with the opposite side. And then we'll start putting it together. Lovely. Now at this point, if you did want to add any pockets on the inside, do that with the lining now. So you could easily put one of those letterbox zips, as I call it, on there. Or a little patch pocket would work. A bit of spray behind there again. Careful not to get the 505 onto the right side of faux leather because it can stain it. I can hold that down and then we'll cut this one out. Just around the top and back down. So this part of the bag is actually really quick. Sewing it together is really quick. It's a very simple bag. It's the frame that I think is a little bit off-putting for some people. There we go. And on this side. Snip into the corners and across the bottom. And again, with the two kits that don't have the faux leather, just iron this all the way down. Could put a piece of piping across there, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? In a contrast colour. Right, so that's that. So now we're going to sew the lining to the top of the bag, just across the top. So those two pieces together. Pins in pincushion. Oh, no, short stitch. Okay. 2.4 I'm using if you're interested. And so with the 1/4 minute seam allowance. The seam allowance is quite important because if you have your seam allowance too wide, so I'm just playing footsie with the foot pedal down here. If your seam allowance is too wide, it's not going to fit in the frame, so do make sure that you get the right seam allowance with this one. So we'll stop needle down there and go around the curve. Now normally on things with curves like this or corners and things, I'd be cutting them off or trimming into them or cutting little V shapes. I'm not with this one because I want it to be bulky. I don't want to reduce the bulk on this at all because I want to squish it inside the frame. So the same with the second side here. Right sides together. Across the top. Just around the curve. Into that corner, needle down, turn around, and off we go. And snip. Okay, and then we're going to sew these two pieces right sides together, leaving a turning gap in the base of the lining. So when you do these, we want to make sure that the two seams are lined up here. If it's slightly out on this side, don't worry too much because this end's going to be inside the frame. So this is the most important bit. So as you sew, just make sure those two pieces are lined up. If you wanted to pop a clip in there to hold it, would be a good idea. You can pin, but I wouldn't recommend pinning through the faux leather. So I'm just going to pop a clip there and pop a clip here. There we go. And then we'll sew. These wonder clips, by the way, only came back in stock last week. There's a pack of 50 there. Right, I'm going to push the outer fabric up so the valise line's facing upwards on both sides. And then we'll sew. Again, as I'm approaching that seam, I'm just making sure that it matches. Don't sew over those corners. Those are to make the base square. So let's go across the bottom. So what are you going to be doing for the rest of the day today? Got sewing. Well, we've got another hour coming up with some fabric, and I'm going to be making a pocketed wall hanger. So we can do a bit of sewing. Then there'll be another couple more hours sewing as well when the because we show repeats. We're going 4 hours tomorrow, and then we've got the whole of the rest of the day. I don't know what we're going to do. Is it sunny outside? I haven't even seen. Mind you, too busy for that sunshine nonsense. Haven't had much time to spend in the sun this year. Right, so all the way down to the bottom again, we're going to leave the corners cut out. Love the speed of this machine. So quick. We will leave a gap in the bottom there. Quite a big one. All of this is in your instructions, remember, so don't take too much notice. And then down the final side here. And just matching up with the seam where I started. Then we'll take the square corners, open those out, like so. Squish the two sides together. So again, the top seam meets on top of the base seam like so, and then we'll sew straight across. I don't fold the seams open, I'll squish them in opposite directions, so that's reducing the bulk as I sew over them. And here we go. And the same on this side. I'm just going to make sure as well where I squish the seam in that direction, that direction, that it's the same direction on this side. So the seam isn't twisted across the bottom. Doesn't really matter. And then we'll do the same with the lining section. So open these out, squish together and sew across. And the same with this one. Open it out, squish together and sew across. Right, then we'll turn this the right side out. Remember, I'm not clipping into the seam at all. I want it to be bulky. And then I'll show you a couple of ways of putting the frame in. I'm not going to sit and sew all the way around it, but I'll show you. Let's poke. But that's nice and square, nice neat seam on the bottom. We'll sew the opening closed later. Push this inside, and then I'm just going to top stitch all the way around the edge, because otherwise when I'm gluing this, and even if I'm sewing, the lining wants to fold back over the fleece, and I'm having none of it. So just making sure that the seam's on the end. There'll be quite a lot of bulk there, and again, that's what we want. We want it to be thick and bulky. So that's going to help it sit inside the frame and stay inside the frame. We want to really jam it in there. So I can actually lengthen the stitch a little bit here, because this is only a tacking, there's tacking stitch, I suppose. It's just not going to come out. And into this side. And again, I'm just squeezing this so that the seam's on the top. You could iron it first if that helps. And then underneath that side seam, which is quite bulky. So just keep folding that down. So the fabric wants to stand up straight because it's got the fleece inside it, but I want the fleece folded over to make it a bit more bulky. And I'm just staying quite close to the edge because I don't want to see these stitches when the frame goes in. All right. Just coming up to the final bit here. Around the curve and down the side. And over here. Just give it a bit of help over that big lumpy bit. Right, frame time. If you're going to sew the frame in, then I would mark the very centre, so you can measure that, but the centre of the curve here on both sides. So again, measure that if you want to. And that's where I would start sewing. So this is the bit that can get a little bit fiddly. First of all, this isn't the thread that comes with it, this is just some spare thread of mine. I'll move a little bit of this out of the way so we're a little bit tidier, isn't it? Is that tidy? Hardly. Tidier. Okay, I'm going to thread this up. Doesn't need 6 strands of thread, but you know, but not in the end. Right, so let's open this up. So this is a sew-in. This is how I would sew it in. I'm not going to start sewing through the hole straight away. I'm literally going to go in here and hold the frame in place with the thread like this. So push the fabric in between the two sides of the frame and literally go over, oops, where have you gone? Over and over. To hold it there. You'll find that a lot easier than just going straight in for the stitch, because it helps to hold it in place. Okay, so any kind of thread, this is just like, it's like tacking it, and do that all the way around. I do one side at a time, and then when you go back and do your proper stitch, I mean, this isn't the thread you're going to use, you'll use the red or the black thread that comes with it. Start again in the middle and then go through the hole, pull this up, back down again. The idea is that you back stitch, but I'd go in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out all the way around and then go back and fill in the gaps. I find that easier. But doing it this way means that you're not fighting with the fabric. When you go in from this side, try and push the needle right up inside so that you're not seeing any stitches here. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if you do, that will happen, you're bound to see some stitches, but if you can get the needle right inside here before you put it into the hole, you're less likely to see the stitches on the outside, and just give that a really good tug and take the stitches inside the frame that way. So that's the sewing option. If you're going to glue in, I shan't glue this because it's a shame because it hasn't got the stitches in it, and it will be permanent, but you'll get the idea. So let's just take that off there. So this is quite time consuming. I would sew your thread in and out, in and out, in and out in the frame like this, so it looks as though it's been sewn in. And to be honest, if you don't, you've just got holes all the way around there, which looks a little bit odd. So sew your thread through there first of all. Don't jump over here because that's the hinge. So knot off your thread at the back. It's going to be difficult to knot when you get to the end here. So what you're going to do there is to take a little bit of your HT2 glue and just drizzle it. Can I open? Oh. So can I open it? I think it's already been there. So when you come to the end here, just drizzle a little bit of glue on the end of the thread and leave that to dry, and that'll hold the thread in place. Then take your glue, tip this upside down and just put some around the curved side here. So just glue inside there. And then wait a couple of minutes till it goes really tacky. And then make sure you've got this on the right side. Then you're going to push this section inside there. Okay? And then leave it. It will help if you have a pair of tweezers or something like this. So you're really going to shove that in there, push it right in, just around the curve bit. We want that out of the way. That's where the handle goes. So push it right up like that. And then leave it to dry. So it may get a little bit impatient, oh, I'll just carry on a little while. But if at this point you carry on doing this, that's going to come out. So this is worth taking the time to do it. So leave that to dry, and then you can drizzle more glue inside here, leave it a couple of minutes to go tacky, and then push the rest of the frame in there. So you're going to do it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections. You do this first, then you'll leave it to dry, then this side, leave it to dry, this side, leave it to dry, and then you'll repeat all of that with the other half there. But really push it in. You know, you've got a lot of bulk of fabric in there, and that's what you want. The more fabric you can get underneath here, the more secure that's going to be. And that will hold your bag. This glue is absolutely fantastic for that. And half the stock sold out. One more quick thing I wanted to show you was the strap. This is similar to the, I think you called it webbing that you had on the website here. It's a similar kind of thing. And quite surprisingly, it's easy to sew through. So it's not going to fray on the ends. So you'll simply take this through the ring, fold it over, and then literally sew across there. If you want to make that a really secure bond, put a little bit of your HT2 glue on there, fold it over, clip it till it's dry, and then just sew across the end here. That's all it's going to need. But if I just show you on this machine, you're going to lift that up. We're on a straight stitch, they're a bit smaller, and then very carefully sew. And then you can go back again. You know when I said very carefully sew? That wasn't very carefully. That woke you up, didn't it? If your machine's struggling, I actually hit the stitches on there. That's what happened there. Let me do it again. If your machine does struggle, then turn this by hand. And you can sew all the way across there and back again, just by hand. but don't go quick, which is difficult on this machine. Slow it right down. There we go. And then we can go backwards. Like so. A denim needle will help. Denim needles are strong needles, which aren't necessarily just for denim, so that will help to go through the thicker fabric like that. And that's that. So when your bag's finished, the handle simply clips onto these little loops here. And that's as easy as it is. But we're sold out of everything anyway, so. Right, pop that in there, that in there. We give you a reminder of the rotary cutter. Because I do think you should have a rotary cutter ruler and mat if you don't have one already. I use an Alpha at home. I like Alpha everything. I just think that they're really lovely quality. This is a 45mm rotary cutter. They are incredibly sharp. If you haven't used one before, beware of that blade. Even when they're blunt, they're sharp. It does have a lock on it, and that's really important. Just get into the good habit of locking this out every time you use it, because you know if that drops on the floor, that can do a lot of damage to your feet, let alone your carpet. Their blades are replaceable. To be honest, I don't always use Alpha blades because they are quite expensive, so any 45mm rotary cutter blade will fit your Alpha rotary cutter. It's only £19.99. I think you'll find it invaluable for cutting in a straight line, for accuracy, and for speed. You really can't go wrong. You will need a cutting mat. Don't go cutting on your table because it will cut your table. This one is a Genoma cutting mat, and it's inches on the one side and we've got the centimetres on the other. And you've got your diagonal markings. I think this is important for a mat because then you can be cutting at a bias angle. You can cut triangles and diamond shapes if you're a patch worker as well. So we've got eighth of an inch increments on here too. And it's self-healing, and it's A2 in size. So it's a decent size. It's a good enough size to cut up larger pieces of fabric. You'll need to fold them, but it's easy to store as well. So this is a really good one for anyone that doesn't have a lot of space in the sewing room. And to accompany said mat and cutter, you will need a ruler. Now we've got lots of different rulers on the website on sewingstreet.com. My preference is the 6.5 by 24.5. Because this is big enough to go across a folded bolt of fabric, so I can cut long strips with it, and I can still cut smaller pieces. If I'm squaring up a block or something, I can still use this size of ruler. But there's lots on the website on sewingstreet.com if you wanted the 5-inch squares, 9-inch squares, 12-inch squares, all different shapes and things. This is creative grids as well, so it doesn't slip, so that's really useful too. What else did we use? This, so I can't believe how I love a fast sewing machine. You can slow it down because there's the speed control on the front here, but this is a really lovely sewing machine. It's the Elna 680. Comes with you with a 2-year guarantee as well. Simple to use. Computerized machines are always the easiest way to go as far as sewing machines are concerned, because literally you press a button, you choose your stitch. There's hundreds of them, and the machine will automatically set the default tension and the stitch length and stitch width, which of course you can override if you wanted to. It comes with a huge extension table. It comes with a hard cover as well, with a semi-hard cover, which is this one, and it's got the knee lifter. There's your extension table, so that simply goes on the end here. One of the biggest differences I've found with my sewing machine, I've got the 720 equivalent at home, is that it doesn't have a free arm, and I do actually miss that free arm. This one does have a free arm, so if you're a dressmaker or indeed a bag maker, you'll find it easier to use this. So this slides off, extension table goes on if you're going to use it as well, and you get a whole host of feet included in here, as you would expect from a fancy machine like this one. So £1,099. It's you're not going to be disappointed with that. It's a beautiful sewing machine, it really is. So if you're upgrading, do you know, if you're a first-time sewer, you'll find this machine really easy to use. I don't know if I'd recommend spending over £1,000 on a first machine, but you could do quite easily. And this apparently is the machine of choice from Sewing Street guests when they come in as well. I'm not surprised, it's beautiful. Okay, we've got another hour coming up live, We're going to be all colourful and rainbow coloured in the next hour, and lots of inspiration for you as well. So we'll take a quick break and we'll see you again in a couple of minutes.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hello, I'm Catherine Wright. I'm from Leicestershire Craft Centre, which is based in Market Harborough. I love all kinds of sewing, but probably my favourite thing to do is dressmaking. But I also teach patchwork and free motion embroidery and anything to do with textiles, really. I love to have a go at felting and crochet and knitting and, oh, you name it, I'll have a go at it. So I started sewing when I was 7. My mum taught me to sew, and the very first thing I made was an apron. But I'm a terribly impatient person. I just want to get on with the project. So I didn't wait for her to help me cut it out, and I cut it out myself. And I didn't know you had to have a seam allowance. So I made the world's smallest apron, and my mum still has it somewhere. Sewing tips, I would say, I teach a lot of people to sew, especially beginners, and I would say don't get disheartened. Take your learning journey slowly. Don't expect to suddenly make a ball gown or suddenly make a king-size quilt. Build up your skills, slowly. And I would also say the iron is your friend. Use your iron a lot. It makes your sewing look so much better. It helps you get things in place where you want it before you sew, and is a really handy thing to have.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
To see me back. My favourite piece of kit with the sewing is the seam ripper. Hello, I'm Janice from Birmingham. I specialise in dressmaking. I used to run a children's shop and I love making children's clothes. My mother encouraged me to sew from an early age. When we were young, we did dressmaking in the school. My claim to fame was the sewing quarter, but I'm now making also jumpsuits for ladies and men of all shapes and sizes, and it seems to be going for the festivals around the country. See you on the show!
Hello, welcome back to Sewing Street. This is our final live hour of this Sunday morning, and we've got a good one for you. So we've got lots and lots of fabrics, but it's all cheerful and rainbow inspired. So let's dive in straight away and take a look at our first mega bundle. This has been on the desk all morning, and I haven't even mentioned it, and it's been selling really, really well. All of this you're getting. And there's 2 meters actually free there as well. It's £136.11. Shall we start with the greens? Because it's like a whole vignette or all of these shades of wonderful, happy, kaleidoscopic colours. So we've got the mint greens here, and sages, and bright bolds, and then moving on to the blues. So we've got like an Air Force blue and a turquoise and a bright blue and a pale blue and an even paler and a bit darker and a sea blue and a cobalt blue and a navy, and all of those are different coloured blues. And then there's the purples and the lilacs and the lavenders and the fuchsias and the pinks and the brights and the strawberries and the raspberries and the peaches and the pales. And then we've got all different shades of orange going through to a sunshine yellow, a bright pillar box red and a deep burgundy. We've got a brown and a black and a grey and another grey and another grey and another grey. And then the creams and the neutrals. We've got beiges and creams and buttermilks and ivories and white and even whiter than white. 21.5 metres in total for £136.11. You have seen this bundle before, and it literally sold out in minutes, and it's been selling steadily throughout the morning this morning without even mentioning it. Look at all of those. Now these are a quilting weight of fabric, and basically, oh, we've got a question. Would they be suitable for making a child's dress? Yes, absolutely. With a quilting weight of cotton, if I just lift this up to show you. The density. Whoops. So a quilting weight of cotton is a good quality cotton, but it's got a loose weave, and so called so because a lot of people quilt by hand, and it makes it easier to sew by hand when you've got a loose weave. So you've got a good quality of thread, but you can slightly see through that. I mean, this is a light, remember, it's not going to make your clothes see through. It'd be great to make a shirt or a little girl's dress or anything like that out of. That's absolutely fine. And if I show you that in comparison with a poplin, still cotton, still made from the same threads, but a poplin is more of a dressmaking fabric because the weave is a little bit tighter. So I've got the light shining behind there again. I don't know if you can see the weave on that. It's a little bit denser than a quilting weight of cotton. It has a smoother feel to it, but either can be used for either. So you can use your poplin for quilting, that's not a problem. You can use your quilting cotton for dressmaking. Poplin tends to come in wider pieces, so it tends to be 140 centimetres wide, whereas your quilting cotton is normally 112 centimetres wide. But there we go. So we've only got 2 bundles remaining now, but I hope that's explained the difference. But basically, yes, you can use it for dressmaking. It's not a problem at all. It just feels, it doesn't feel as smooth as a poplin, which is designed for dressmaking. That's all. So, okay, so only 2 of those. So what are you going to make? All these colours of fabrics. You could make, I mean, 21.5 metres. You could make the biggest rainbow quilt. You could probably make 2. You could do rainbow curtains. And if you're stuck for ideas as to what to do with rainbow fabric, if quilting is, oh, it's sold out now. So for those of you that have already got your rainbow bundle, how about the Modern Rainbow Patchwork Book? Of course, you don't have to use rainbow fabrics with it, but this is the idea. Just to be able to create, oh, look, fried eggs. Amazing. Who knew? I'm sure if I went to my fabric company with my next range and said, I'd quite fancy doing fried eggs on my next range, I don't think I'd be allowed. Oh, we've got that cushion, haven't we? Oh, let me show you. This is this. How's that? Different fabric. We do have this in a bundle, but that's the cushion that has been made out of it. Oh, look at that. Really draws your eye in, doesn't it? Beautiful. And I like the fact that you've got very simple step-by-step instructions. What are they then? Is it croquet? Well, there you go. Not something I've ever partaken in, to be honest. So lots of different designs. All of your instructions and patterns are in here as well. So loads of ideas. That's nice, and that's different. Let's see something a little bit different. I'm just thinking, whoever's holding that quilt up, has she got a face in here at all, or is it just featuring her feet? What a shame. Mind you, I bet she got a pedicure out of it. She's got fancy nail varnish on. I'm saying she, who knows? So again, £12.99 is your price there. £14.99 is your recommended retail price, so you've got a bit of a saving there as well. We like to do that on Sewing Street. Obviously, it's not all quilts. That's a nice idea too. A little bit of a star purse. Coasters. Smaller achievable projects for those of you that are just starting to quilt. Different way of putting a drawstring around the top of a bag. £12.99 is your price there. Modern Rainbow Patchwork Quilts. Let's have a look at these. Because I've made these. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's a work in progress. That's somebody's UFO. And that's the finished one. Now with this bundle, you're saving £8 off the usual price. And this is what you're getting. Whoops. Love that hand stitch kind of look. You could follow that if you've got the patience. And remember, you're saving £8, so we've got a bit of cross stitch on this one. We've got birds on there. I'll open one out in just a second. And then the teal and red. So you've got bees and birds, and there's all kinds of things on the patterns. Bright blue, and then we've got a big white piece in there as well. Let me just open this out and show you how much of that one you're getting. So there's a metre there altogether. So a metre of the white and then half a metre of all of the other ones. So with said bundle, you could make that cushion cover. But there again, because these aren't cut up into little pieces, you can make them into anything you like. But if you have a look at the print on this, it's quite interesting. Thursday the 25th of June was the day, that was last week, wasn't it? It was the day that this was demonstrated. So if you have a look on our YouTube channel, so just go to YouTube and type Sewing Street into the search bar, and then scroll down all of the videos to the 25th of June, you'll see a demonstration on how to make up that cushion cover. But look at this, so we've got a moth, we've got strawberries, there's a lock and a key. Loads of birds on there. There's a seahorse, a boat, pirate ship, birds again. Cupcakes, keys, thimbles, starfish, rabbits. It's quite a mixture, isn't it? But it's, I don't know, it just kind of works. It's a little bit quirky, but it works. So you've got £39.99 again for the complete bundle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 metres, 4 metres of fabric in total for £39.99. That's a good price, isn't it? So saving £8 off the usual. And again, if you want to make the cushion cover, there's everything that you need in there and probably a bit left over. Or if you just want to build up your stash and you think that's a good price for all of that fabric, then again, it's £39.99. You can do what you like with it. We had a question from Carol on Facebook, and she says, I was going to buy fabric glue for helping when making bucket hats. Is it safe to use fabric glue whilst using a sewing machine, or will it damage the bobbin area? Also, which one is a good one to use? If you're making hats, then I wouldn't go for the HT2. It's too strong and it'll be lumpy. I would use, depending on how you're going to use it, I would use the 505 spray, which is a temporary adhesive. And it's repositionable, so that'll hold things together while you're sewing, but that does wash out and it only stays repositionable for a few hours, so that'd be a good one to use. If you want a permanent glue, then use a 606. I don't know if you have any on the website, but it's an ODIF 606 spray, and when you iron that, it then becomes permanent. And yes, they are designed for use with sewing machines, so they're not going to affect your machine. Don't ever use any kind of glue that's been designed for paper with your sewing machine, because it'll gunk your needle up and all kinds of things. But glues that are designed for use with sewing machines are absolutely fine. So I hope that answers your question, Carol. Right, so that's that bundle. So what should we have a look at next? We've got loads of coloured stuff down here. Let's have a look at these ones. This is another bundle, but it is also available by the ½ metre. So if you wanted one large piece of fabric, then just order more than 1/2 metre and they all come joined up. But if you wanted to go for the whole lot together, they are all available together as well. There we go. The bottom few are only available in the bundle, but I'll take you through those in just a second. So the nice thing about these type of fabrics is that they're all unique. You're never going to get 2 prints that are exactly the same, and they've got a really nice smooth finish to them as well. There's 6 metres in total. So these are ½ metre lengths, which is that. So they're 112 centimetres wide by ½ metre in length. Really smooth, it feels nice. This would be nice for dressmaking. Comfortable and lightweight to wear, and nice and soft too. So that's the red, bit of pink in there as well. And then this one that reminds, I don't know, it's like an animal print, but not, if that makes sense. And I love all of the different colours that are being washed over there as well. They blend together really well. That's very much a tie-dye kind of look, isn't it? Or it looks like, oh, you've painted the garden fence and then it rains. It's just like, isn't it? That wasn't a very romantic way, was it? Then we've got the orange, or swimming pools in Spain, with the light twinkling, the sunshine reflecting, or the moonlight. Another one, it looks like a jungle print to me. I know it's not, but fingerprints. And then another tie-dye effect. Oh, that's a nice one. That's like a snake skin, isn't it? Another watercolour. Different colour in the snake skin effect. And the turquoise. And then we've got the yellow and gold. Have a look on the website if you wanted to order any of those individually, because they're not all available individually. But if you go to sewingstreet.com and take a look there, all of your information will be on the website. If you wanted to go for the bundle, that's £106.99. And there's 6 metres of fabric in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ½ metres. That's right. So all of that for your £106.99. And I'm going, I mean, if you look at these and you might think that they'd make a nice quilt, I'm going to make my pocketed wall hanging out of a couple of those. And I'm going to use that one as the background because I love that. Or shall I use that one? No, we'll use that one. So pop that there. And then I'll need something for pockets on the front. I think I'll just go turquoise. So I'm going to do that. Shall we get on with that now? Or do you want to have a look at something else first? Go well together, don't they? I'll leave that there for now. Right, letting you into trade secrets again. Let's have a think about this one then. So I want my pocketed wall hanger to be about that size. I think that is a respectable size for a wall hanging. I'd normally use a different fabric on the back, but I shan't for this one. So I'll need my rotary cutter ruler and mat again. Let's take off the selvage. So I'm just cutting a straight line across here. Am I? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. There we go. Oh, we've got loads. Oh. How did that happen? Weird. It's an old day today, isn't it? I think it's a bit of a, yes, a funny old day today. It's a funny old day. Or is that just me? It just feels a bit, maybe it's the change in the weather, as they say. We always blame the weather. Right, so I'll cut that down to about there. Make sure that's straight. Oh, there we go. So I'll give you a measure. Oh, that's a bit skinny. We'll have a thin one. I didn't mean to chop that much off. That is 12.5 inches by 22. I'd make that a little bit wider, ideally. I got a little bit carried away there. And I'm going to cut that in two. Like so. Oh, should have used my electric scissors, shouldn't I, on this one? I'll have a look at those in a bit. And I'm going to iron it because I don't like working with creased up fabric. This is an easy project. I will need a rod of some sort, which I did have the other day, but we'll get the gist without the rod. So we're going to make a nice little storage hanger, somewhere to keep maybe your jewellery in your bedroom even. There we go. Now then, I'm going to put some fusible fleece on the wrong side of one piece. So this is the H640. I know we haven't got an awful lot of this left. If you wanted to order that, I'd be quick. You get a metre square of it, you get quite a lot. And well, you get that much, look, loads. So that's just going to give it a bit of stability. It'll still be quite soft, but when the rod goes in the back, that's going to keep it nice and firm. So just line that up with the edge. And we'll have a blast. We like a blast on a Sunday morning. Oh, now next week, I'm not here next Sunday, but I don't know what you're going to do without me next week. But I don't know. Probably have a very sensible show with whoever's presenting. But I am here on the Monday, and it's Monday the 6th that is the next sewing surgery. So if you have any questions, in between times as well, if you drop us a message on Facebook, then we'll save them all up and we'll be answering your problems. We'll be sorting you out next Monday. In between birthday cake. So let's just trim across here. Down there. Yeah, I'm having a new website for my birthday and a new studio. They promised by the end of the month. All I want is a new studio. Okay, that's just getting a little bit wrinkly, so I'm just going over it again. Not that you can tell. There we go. There we go. I've been set a challenge. A 10-minute demo. Okay, we can do a 10-minute demo. We just do everything a little bit quicker. So we're going to make the pockets like so. So again, we're going to cut off the selvage from the bottom of here, like that. And then my pockets are going to be 6 inches deep, I think. On this one we'll have 2 rows of 6 inches. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces of fabric which are 12 inches deep and fold them in half, and that's going to save me actually sewing a seam, so that's going to cut down a little bit of time. So that's going to go across there, across the whole length of the fabric, and then don't need that piece. And these 2 pieces are going to fold in half like this. Can you tell I've only got 10 minutes? Off we go. So that's folded in half. We're just going to sew down one side here, switch the machine on, and just using a straight stitch, we're going to sew straight across here like that. I shan't finish it, but you'll get the idea. I say that every week, don't I? I shan't finish it, but you get the idea, it's fine. And then we'll do the same on the second pocket, and then we'll give that a quick iron. So that there, and this one doesn't really have a right and wrong side, this fabric, does it? So straight across here. Are we lined up? Yes, we are. Put down there. Iron still on. Missed a bit, I've missed a bit. I'll just re-sew over that bit that I've missed. Could do without missing a bit when I only got 10 minutes. Good job, the machine's fast. That'll do. And then we'll turn those through and give them a quick iron. Don't leave fabric, it's not nice to do that. Like so. And then I'm going to make the seam just off the centre so it disappears around the back, so I don't see that seam from the front of my pocket. And we'll press that. And normally I would top stitch across the top, but I'm not going to because I haven't got time. And that goes in there. So iron switched off. So I've got water pouring out the iron. And then that in there, that through there, and let's whiz that seam just across the back so we don't see it again. Might be because I'm sloshing it around a bit. Okay. Right, then we're going to put this on top of here. So let's move that out of the way. So I'm going to pin this into the side here, and then we're going to make some pleats for the pockets like this. So on that, and one there, trying to get them reasonably even. So flat pockets on the side and a gusseted pocket in the middle. We can trim that one down. And then on this one, we'll do the same, but we'll have some smaller pockets in this one. So when you're doing this properly at home with time, you can just measure and mark and make sure that everything is in the right place. And everything's even and your pleats are even, and let's do a little pocket like that. And I'll have another one there, I think. See, that should be in the middle, which isn't, yeah, that'll do. I quite like a challenge. And that can go there. I've got 5 minutes to, maybe not that much of a challenge. And then I'll sew down the sides first of all. So I'm sewing really close to the edge on this one just to hold the pockets in place. because this will be within the seam allowance when the whole thing is sewn together. Take that out there. And then down this side. Again, just in the seam allowance, just to hold those together. And there you go. Like so. Then I'll need to sew a little bit of these pockets in place. So I'm just going to fold that back. Actually, no, we could do it that way for speed. And in fact, we'll sew across the bottom first. Come on, what you stuck on? We can't afford to be stuck, 680. We've got 3 minutes. Oh, get in there. Oh, no, 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 no. It's all right. There. Oh, that caught a little bit. Like that. Just a little pleat in there, but that's fine. It's only a wall hanger. So just lift it. Actually, we have a tool for this kind of thing, don't we? There you go. What are you called? Oh, my needle's dropped out. I've never had that happen before. Look at that. My needle's just dropped out. Sorry, little 680. My word. Fancy that. I've never in all my years. Well. Actually, that didn't sew any of that. So what I was going to do, because now I'm never going to finish it in a minute, that's as far as we are there. Let me just trim off that side bit there. I'm going to sew, because I will finish it. Probably won't. Just along the pockets there. Given a little bit more time, I'd actually sew inside the pockets all the way down. But I'm just going to sew a little bit up there, so it will bag a little bit at the top. On the back, so on my lining piece, I will, is that my lining piece? No. We're done with that. There we go. On the lining piece, I will make a tube and sew that to the lining, like when you hang a quilt up or a wall hanging. So I'll have a tube across there with the ends folded under, and that's where my rod's going to go to hang this. And then right sides together. So plonk that on top of there, sew all the way around, leave a gap in the bottom, turn it the right side out, and then top stitch around the edge. And then you've got a really useful little pouch with lots of pockets in to keep all of your things in your sewing room. I ought to finish that. It's quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah. See, I would have finished that in its entirety if the needle hadn't dropped out of the machine. What an odd thing to happen. It is an odd day today. It is just an odd day today. Right, this is from the Moda Maui Batik bundle. I don't even know what I've done with the needle. Oh, there it is. I'll try and stick that in as I'm talking. So it is the complete bundle of fabric. You've got 6 metres in total, so there are 12.5 metres. And don't just think quilting with these bundles. There's a lot you can do with them. I'm not doing any more sewing, am I, today? I'll leave that then. I'll leave that for John to figure out. Poor John. He sent me a message the other day saying he missed me. Oh, I don't know why. Right. Not listening to a thing, so I'm not sure where I'm going. Oh, the bollypops, bollypops. If you like that kind of look, you'll like these. In our new studio that we're moving into next week, we're going to have so much space. We'll have all of these tables all laid out in different areas. So we'll be able to walk from one set to it. We'll have guests and everything, because we are actually 2 metres apart here, but we don't. We have actually we've got a guest coming in tomorrow. We've got Delphine coming in tomorrow, haven't we? But I'll be over there somewhere, so keeping away from. But in our new studio, we'll have all of these cameras, so we can just cut from one set to another like that. Got all of that. We've already got the bar installed. It's got studded leather in the front of it, and I've just got a disco ball. We've got everything. So that's we have a champagne bar and sushi when we've finished work normally. So that's what we do. So that's why the new studio's been taking so long to build, because it's just going to be amazing. There's a hotel in there. Going to have hairdressers and makeup artists, and yeah, all that. Yeah, there'll be a nail bar there as well. So that's just why it's taken so long. Barley pop in my dreams, you know. This is the barley pop. These are 2.5-inch wide strips of fabric, a little bit like a jelly roll, that kind of thing. And oh, here we are. Just so I don't open them, let's have a look at what we have in here. This is these are the open bundles. Obs. So we have been using these a little bit, so you'll have more, but you'll get an idea of the amount of fabric that you actually have. And what are you going to do with them? So these are all of the brights. We've got purples and pinks and greens, turquoise, orange, really good, well, kind of combination of gorgeous colours. And again, they're all unique. It's got a nice handle to it as well. It feels nice, does your barley pop fabric. So that's your brights. Again, loads in there. There's 40 pieces altogether. And you've got this spotty effect on them, which is quite unusual. Is that created by wax dropping on it, isn't it? So all handmade, something a little bit different. So that's your brights. Then we have the autumnal tones on this one, aren't they? Like browns and greens and earth tones. So that's all of these. These are lovely, really rich, warm colours. So this is the one that I used, oh, it was a while ago now, and I actually made one of those, what do you call them? When you wrap them around and sew them together and make rugs out of them. I made one of those with this fabric. I should bring it in and show you sometime. So beautiful colours, very, very autumnal, aren't they? It's like the turning leaves. It's not going to be long now, is it? Now we've gone past the longest day. I don't like it when the summer solstice comes around. It feels like we're on a downward slope now, and I still haven't seen much sunshine. So that's the earthy ones, and then finally, oh, it's those ones. These look like a rainy day, stormy rainy day. Look at those. Jewel colours like amethysts and emeralds. I'm not big on jewels, but I know those two. 40 strips in total. This is the Sea Spotty pack for £39.99. 2.5 inches wide, and they'll be the width of the bolt, so they will be 112 centimetres in width. Get a lot there, don't you? It looks an awful lot more when you take it out than when you see it in the packet. Right. We also have some pre-printed panels, which are these. Right, so we have a rainbow fabric panel. Look at all of the fabrics that you have in here. All of the colours, all printed on cotton. Nice heavy weight of cotton on this one. And you can cut them all up, or you can just use it as one large piece of fabric, just as you see here. Now this is at special price. So should be £19.99, but just for you today is £14.99. And they're not all kind of block colours either. They've got spots on them, which is quite nice. So again, £14.99, 140 centimetres wide, and it's a metre in length you get in there for your £14.99. I know lots of you got those already, and we do see a lot of rainbows in windows still, which is quite nice. So maybe that's an affordable way for you to be able to make something, or just hang it up as it is. Right, so that's the rainbow. Then we have a square version. So these are 5-inch squares, a bit like a charm pack size. Great for a beginner sewer. All you need to do is cut them out and sew them back together again. Or you could, I have done this before, knocking everything over. Use this as your seam allowance and just poke it in and sew them together as they are. If you're happy with the arrangement, then you can just sew them like that, or you can sew them with the white on the top. So squish these so that the fold is right down the centre of the white panel, and then it looks like you've got a white pin tuck, which is quite a nice effect. But of course they will be in this order. If you want to cut them out and put them together in a different order and sew them back together again, that would be fine. And of course you can mix them with different fabrics as well. So if you've got a plain, a white would really make these stand out and kind of dilute the whole look. So we've got stripes and we've got spots and we've got chevrons on the prints. And again, they're £14.99. Exclusive to Sewing Street. Printed in the UK. Then we have hexies. Which are these? There is a reason why they are laid out in this manner as well, that I may have had something to do with. Cutting out hexies can be quite time consuming normally, you know, when they're all joined together, because you've got that Y seam that you need to cut into. But by laying them out like this, you can use your rotary cutter and your ruler and cut straight across, and then you can just go over and cut them diagonally as well. It just makes them so much easier to cut out when they're like this. So that's why they're laid out like this. So you've got all of the same colours as in your squares. So if you want to do a project where they mix match together, then of course you can do. Great for English paper piecing as well. Let me just measure. The side of that is 1 inch, just under 1.5 inches. So if you've got 1-inch paper pieces, then that would work really well. If you've got the pre-cut pieces, and that would make a nice little bit of hand sewing to keep you busy while you're sitting out in the sunshine. With your factor 50 on, of course, and in the shade, of course. So that's your hexies. Then we have, this is the linear, which is RBW 83, if you wanted to place your order. And again, they're 2.5-inch strips, but you could just use it as it is if you wanted, I don't know, a panel in a curtain or a border around something. So you can cut them up, or you can just use it as one big piece. That's only £12.99. And like so. And then finally, we have the spots. And your spots, HQW69. Again, in really pretty rainbow colours. You could easily make a couple of cushion covers out of that. And of course you can mix them together, the same colours. So you could have a spotty front and then a woven back maybe. But that's your spots. And they're 2.5 inches by about 112 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those on the strip for £12.99. Right. Now back to the barley pops, the under the sea one, the one that I liked. We've only got 7 of those left now. That's going to go quickly. Okay, that there, that there, that there. So that's all of those. Those are a special offer as well. If you've already ordered something today, remember you've paid your postage, so you won't have any more postage to pay on anything else that you order. So if you hadn't seen these on the website earlier and you thought, oh, I wish I'd have ordered those and got it all in one go and saved on my P&P, then you don't. If you've already ordered maybe an early bird at 8 o'clock this morning, then we're not going to ask for any more postage for the whole of the rest of the day. Come back tomorrow, and we will. Oh, come back tomorrow. We're here for 4 hours. 4 hours live, as from tomorrow morning. We launched these electric scissors, which are very durable and hard wearing. And they're very safe because they're not actually pointed. We sold out of them in the launch show, but we have managed to get a few back for you, or a few more for you. So if you haven't seen these before, have a look around, have a shop around. But bear in mind the quality of the scissors that you're looking at here. I've seen quite a few comments from people saying, well, you can buy them for £20, you can buy them for £30. Not of this quality, you can't. And seriously, they're not going to cut through heavy pieces of fabric. This will. I've even cut through carpet with these scissors. They're safe, they're not sharp, so these points aren't sharp at all. And they only cut when whatever fabric is you're using actually gets right into the point there. So if you accidentally touch them with your finger while you're cutting, it'll give you an unpleasant vibration sensation, but it's not going to cut you. They're very, very safe. Don't go forcing your finger in there, because I'm sure there will be a way to cut. So basically you're getting 2 of the blades, so these just slide on and off, or they lock on and off. And there are a couple of screws that you can hold those in place with as well. This one's already charged up, I've got the battery there. And as you see, that's how it works. It's really, really simple. You also have a main supply. So while this is charging, if you wanted to carry on cutting, then you can plug this directly into the mains. There are 2 blades included. There's a blunt and a sharp. The blunt is actually a sharp. I don't know why they call them 2 different ones, to be honest. And when you're cutting fabrics, you can actually be very accurate. It's not all about cutting very, very thick pieces of fabric. I find I use them more for very fine fabrics. They're kind of like, oh, I'm so tempted to cut John's shirt up, because it looks really, that would make a really good demonstration, wouldn't it? You know, if you're upcycling and you think, well, I could use that sleeve and have nice big fabric on the back. I do hope he's watching. But when, no, I couldn't do that, could I? I could. Viscose is what I was trying to think of. I was looking at John's shirt and thinking, is that viscose? Very fine floppy fabrics that when you're cutting through them, your scissors lift them up off the table and they just tend to fall like liquid. That's where I find electric scissors really useful. But you can be quite intricate with them as well. So if you're cutting around a pattern, it's not going to be a problem. If you want to cut with speed, then these are perfect. If you need to cut shape, so if it's applique shape, you can cut very fine. The trick is not to stop. If you stop and then try and carry on, it can bunch up a little bit. So just have the confidence to keep going. Now, it's not like sewing with a sewing machine when you're on the same spot. It just keeps sewing and sewing, you get a knot. It doesn't matter if you stop here. It doesn't matter if you carry on. Only you want to go really quickly. You just get a really nice, smooth, even cut. It will cut through thicker fabrics as well. I did have some Hessian down here a second ago. Oh, I keep tidying up and everything. And more than just fabric as well. So this is a mesh bag base, plastic mesh bag base. Absolutely easy to cut through. So if you're chopping up cardboard boxes, if you're cutting up old credit cards, don't cut up your new credit cards because we want you to use those. Heavy weights of denim. I use a lot of denim that I buy from charity shops because I love really soft, worn denim to work with. It's the best fabric. But when you're chopping up jeans, to use the fabric, of course, you're going to have a seam, like the flat-felled seam down the sides, probably got 6 layers of fabric there that you need to cut through. And I can struggle with my hands these days. But if you're cutting through, what have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of denim. That's not a problem at all. Just got that knotted up at the end. Look, that's because I stopped early. There you go. Another reason I like them, and if you are in business, if you're selling fabric and you're buying fabric on rolls and you're laying them all out and then you're cutting like this, by the time you get to the end of that first piece of fabric, particularly if it's thick, I bet you're going, ooh. But with this, you're pressing a button and you can cut through so many layers and you can cut through them quickly. I know you can do that with scissors. If you get the right biting point, you can get your scissors in there and they just go whoosh. but invariably it'll jam at some point, and then you'll get a wobbly bit on your fabric, but these don't. Now the quality of the blade, again, it's all about the quality with these scissors, and it is something that, you know, we pride ourselves on. We only invest in the best sewing machines to bring you here on Sewing Street. We like to bring you the very, very best. So you've got tungsten steel blades on this. Have a look at those cheaper ones. They'll be alloy. They're not going to be able to cut through the layers and the amount of fabric that these will, and they're not going to last as long either. You've got a powerful motor inside here. I mean, even looking at this, it looks like it belongs in the toolbox, doesn't it? It doesn't look like it belongs in a sewing room, because that's the kind of quality that you have with these. So do bear that in mind. Buy cheap, buy twice, they say. These are long-lasting, very tough, very powerful, very gentle scissors, and they're very easy to use as well. Now, in your box, you've got your charger, but you've also got a mains lead. And I know what you're saying, I haven't got a plug hole like that. Yes, you have. We're even giving you the correct plug. So that's where you're going to stand your battery, which just comes off here. That goes on there, that plugs in, that charges. Meanwhile, I can plug this into the mains and I can carry on working. You've got two blades like so. This is the B blade, which is the blunter one. That's the A blade that's already on there, which is sharper. So that's for thicker fabrics. And they slide on and off. That is really secure because it's locked on, but there are a couple of little screws that you'll have in here as well, which you can screw in here just to make that extra stable and really make that secure, make sure it stays on. So for speed, for accuracy, even for cutting out patterns, you know, this isn't all about the whoosh and the carpet cutting. You can do some quite intricate cutting with these as well, which I'm going to show you on the alphabet letters that I was supposed to use earlier. So let's just show you how accurate. Oh, let me put the battery back in again, would help. Oh, there we go. It's almost munching away at the fabric. Now you can't do this with a rotary cutter, as in pointing towards you. I could have made a neater job of that, I think. But again, from cutting out patterns, trimming, just nibble away at that until it's perfect. All the way through to really thick layers of fabric as well. It is quite Moorish, you get the idea. It doesn't matter whether it's paper, plastic, cardboard. I'm using, I had some pieces of cardboard as well. Everything's been tidied away. You know, when you cut through corrugated cardboard with a pair of scissors, and I use cardboard quite a lot, either for making templates or if I'm making maybe a storage cube and I want a really solid base, even in the bottom of a handbag, as long as it's not going to be put on the floor or get wet, of course. But corrugated cardboard is really, really strong. But when you try and cut it with a pair of scissors, you'll get halfway down or to where the handles are, and then the whole thing will bend, and then it's not strong anymore. But with these, you don't. You can actually glide through those boxes without any effort from your poor old aching hands and your wrists and your elbows, no pressure whatsoever, and it'll cut them without bending. So cardboard, paper, plastic, maybe you're making your own plastic templates. It could be tracing paper, very fine fabrics, very heavy fabrics. Nothing phases these scissors. It's all about the quality. So they're £169.99. If you've never used them before, have a go. I don't think there'll be any going back once you start using electric scissors. If you're wary of using a rotary cutter, because as I said earlier, those blades are incredibly sharp. This isn't, so nothing's going to cut until it's right inside the blade, so it's a lot safer than a rotary cutter. Or maybe it's just that you're a little bit wobbly and you can't hold the rotary cutter to cut in a straight line, then this is going to be perfect for you. And if you're not very good with your hands, then all you're doing is pulling a trigger, and it's left or right-handed. There's nothing to swap over apart from your hand. So give them a try, £169.99. It's the quality, remember, that you're investing in there. Right, now I'm talking about templates. We do 505 and 404 and 606 and 202. What on earth are all of these different adhesives about? 505 is a repositionable temporary adhesive. So if you're appliquing, you'll spray the back of your fabric, you can peel it up, put it down, peel it up, and then sew it. 404, and that washes out, or after a few hours, it will lose its tackiness. So that really is a temporary adhesive. 404 is a temporary adhesive that's permanent. And I shall explain. When you spray onto, say, a paper pattern, you're going to put a paper pattern on your fabric, maybe you're doing some free motion embroidery, or you've got a long arm quilter and you have a paper pattern to hold down, you spray your pattern and your pattern will be tacky. And it will stay tacky. The tackiness isn't going to transfer onto your fabric, so don't worry about that. It doesn't wash off, it's not going to go away, it will always remain tacky. The only way that it will lose its tackiness is if it gets dusty. So it's ideal for patterns, it's also ideal, let's have a look, don't know if I should be using this. Maybe I'll just use a piece of paper. That will do. So we spray on the back of your whatever it is, in a well ventilated room and away from your sewing machine, please. That's now tacky. That means I can stick it on things. So if you want to put posters on your wall, if you want to put pictures up, and maybe you don't want to drill into the walls or put nails in there or anything, this isn't going to peel off your wallpaper. It'll hold as long, well, months. I think it's about 8 or 9 months it's recommended that these are going to stay on there. If you just haven't got anywhere to store your patterns, you can stick them on your wall without damaging the wall. So this remains tacky. That will always be tacky unless it gets dusty, but it's not going to transfer anything onto anything that it sticks onto. So any kind of hard surface you can stick it onto. It's great, isn't it? Literally. So it'll hold your patterns down on your paper. What else can I stick it to? Hold your patterns down on your paper, but it's not going to, that's a good idea. It's not going to leave any sticky residue on whatever it is you stick it to. So it's similar, but very, very different in the way that they behave. I'll leave it there. No, don't leave it there. Sick of seeing her. So that's what 404 is. It's £7.99. Actually, it's really good for patterns. Putting patterns on fabric, particularly the big tissue paper ones like these. You won't have to pin them. So they will stay sticky, but when you finish using them, just stick them to the wall. It's not going to damage the wall, so you can store them around your walls, and you don't have to kind of lift your fabric up to pin them. And these sprays have been designed for use with needles, so don't worry about any of the ODIV products gunging up your needles. That's what they're for, to sew with. Right, we're almost out of time, aren't we? Oh, now earlier on, we showed you our A4 light box. It's the first time you've seen it today. We're down to single figures now. It's got 3 light settings. It's not glass, it's a perspex, so it's nice and safe as well. It's lightweight, it's got grippy bits on the bottom, and this is ideal for tracing off patterns, particularly patterns in books when you don't want to be chopping into a book, but you do need to trace the pattern off. Or if you have a pattern that's graded in different sizes and you don't want to cut a particular size out, then you can trace off the pattern onto copy paper or something, so that you're not wasting your pattern, if that makes sense, making your pattern go even further. So it's £32.99, just a touch sensor on off and the different light settings, as you can see there. But we've had a really busy day today. It's nice to have had your company today. I like a bit of sewing on a Sunday morning. Now we've got lots of marking tools. Oh, these ones. Pens. Oh, now fabric pens. We've got lots of these. I haven't got time to go through all of them, but just give you a quick idea of all of the different colours that we have available for you. Have a look on the website, which is sewingstreet.com, for all of your different colour options, and of course you can place your order there as well. So that's classic, that's fun. Then we've got pastel, we've got metal, and essentials. Let's have a look at the essentials one. So there's the red, the blue, the black, and the red, blue, black, and yellow. Honestly, there's only 4 in there. And these are, shall I take one out? Shall we do that? They're all sealed up and everything. Am I allowed? So they're proper paint, so you give them a shake before you use them. I'm going to open it. I've done it now. There we go. So to do that, give it a shake to get it going. And then, oh, it's a shame to do that. Use your cutting mat. Got a panel somewhere I can colour in, can't I? They are water-based as well. So let's give that a bit of a daub, just to get the ink coming through. So I've got the red one there. That'll come, if they say 20 stabs, I've lost count. Whoops. It's coming! That's more than 20 stabs. It's coming, look. There we go. Go on then. You only have to do this once. There we go. And then you can paint with them. So again, they are water-based. And you can do quite fine lines with them as well, let's say. Oh, this is so therapeutic. I might hang around a while. All calm down now. We could actually do some live shows now, if you like. That wasn't very accurate, was it? You get a good dense colour as well, though, don't you? A lot of the times with pens, you kind of see the brush mark or the pen strokes, but that you get a really nice mark, and of course it's quite wide as well. Great for personalising things, isn't it? So again, you're going to get 4 of those. Now tomorrow we are here live for 4 hours, and this is what we have coming up. So we've got Delphine coming in at 8 o'clock in the morning, so she's going to be making some stuff with Tilda. And Kits and Inspiration is at 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock it's a Tulip Pink Applique cushions with Delphine again. And at 11 o'clock, Fabulous Fabrics. That's 4 live hours tomorrow. And then at 12 o'clock we go into a 1-hour repeat, which is the Applique tips. So that's what's coming up tomorrow. You can of course carry on ordering after the end of the show. If you have a look on our website on sewingstreet.com, you'll have a look on at everything that we have for you, not just in the shows but available for you. And remember, we've only got that one postage which takes you through all the way to order up until 11:30 tonight, just to make sure that you get your order in on time and make the most of that 1-day packaging, posting and packaging. We've got Hannah coming up in the next hour. That's going to be a repeated show, so she'll be here. That'll be 2 more hours of sewing before you're going to go back over to the jewellery quarter channel, jewellery maker channel even. Okay, so I shall see you bright and It's just been an odd day today, hasn't it? I shall see you again bright and early at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.